Go ahead and call this regular meeting of the Kingsville City Commission to order. It's 6 p.m. All 5 commission are present. Thanks for Commissioner Peckus to join us. We're really honored. We generally open our meetings with the pledges of allegiance and prayer. There to join us, please stand.
Father, we ask that you be here with us today and always. Help guide us to do your will for the betterment of this community, the state, and the nation. And we ask for special blessings for all the veterans as we celebrate their service to our country this Wednesday. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Yeah, I probably should have told you we honor the Texas flag too. So they say. Some of us are Texans first. I don't know who that might be. All right. The next order of business is approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Pena to approve the meeting minutes of the meeting on October the 26th, seconded by Commissioner Peckus. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Peckus?
Yes.
Commissioner Pena?
Yes.
Mayor Keegan?
Yes. We have several public hearings. The first one, we're going to open this at 6:02. It's a hearing to consider an ordinance granting a special use permit for 1055 South US Highway 77. It's approximately 8.88 acres, Lot 8, Jesse 2, for car storage for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Tom, what do you have?
We have an enterprise company wants to, as you know, they have an office in the Phil Neeson Chevrolet dealership, and because of their business, which is good, they need to and want to open up a standalone office building at this site. And let me pass out.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where this was going to be.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Yeah, and just north of Larry's, is that the supermarket, superette or something like that? Maybe right along the frontage road
They're
there.
close to L&M. They're at Caesar and 77 Access Road, southbound.
it's just south of that? Or
No, it'll be north.
Just north,
just north, okay.
just north. Anyway, and this is a positive step because, again, business is so good that they're going to build a 1,000 square foot building on a slab in their proposal. We have to do a special use permit because it's under the ordinance of storage of vehicles, and that requires a special use permit. Stephen Overgaard is here with Enterprise Rental Company. If you have any other questions, but they're going to employ 4 people. I know city staff is looking forward to it because we're really stressing the rental of vehicles, and now they'll have more options, more choices of vehicles. The service has been good. I'm sure they'll believe it will be better, a standalone building. We think it's a positive development on that side of the highway. And we're also hoping that will ignite maybe some development into the convenience store around the corner.
This passed P&Z but unanimously?
Yes, it did.
Okay. All right, anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Tom,
Yeah.
It's going to be landscaped, it's going to look nice, it's going to be on 77, so it's going to, be kind of like right there.
Right.
So it's,
Yeah, they have the landscaping policy. And once they, this is the site plan, but once this gets approved, and we presume it will, then Steve and I will go over more of the details, and if you want to add to that, Steve, in terms of the commissioner's questions, is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
perfect what you'd answered with. It's
Is it gonna be a fenced-in area to protect the cars?
yes, we were just talking about that just a second ago. We will do a fence. Pop rail fence is normally how we would do, but we would do within ordinances whatever we have for zoning in that area. So
Okay.
Anybody, any other questions?
Yes, Mayor. In addition to automobiles, are you gonna offer pickups and vans?
the
Since you have
standard.
bigger area now to
Correct,
expand?
yeah. Our truck division will not be part of this initial development, but we do rent just regular trucks and vans and stuff like that through the car rental operation. So yes, you would see more of that than what you do today.
Okay, good.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Anybody wants to come up and speak about this subject, in this particular subject, all you have to do is come to the podium, tell us who you are and where you live, and you have 5 minutes to talk about this subject. Okay. Tom, did any complaints?
No complaints.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I don't see anybody, guess, that's gonna be coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and close this meeting. You're looking at your watch, I was gonna say, close the meeting at 6:07. And we're gonna open up the next public hearing at 6:07. It's to consider approval of the preliminary plat for the estates at Wildwood Trails Phase 2, lots, 25 lots, 6.75 acres located at KTNI Company, Block 17, Lot 2, 3, and Part of 7, also known as Wildwood Trail subdivision.
Obviously, this is phase 2 of that particular development within Wildwood Trails. The planning and zoning, the development review team reviewed the plans, no questions. P&Z reviewed it, approved it. We've had no complaints.
The P&Z, was that a unanimous? Vote?
Yes, it was unanimous for the estates.
I noticed in the literature that Steve was going to be here maybe tonight.
Correct, yes, and he was, obviously he's not here, so whether he changed his mind, I don't know.
What was his complaint?
Well, his complaint was essentially that at the time when we had the plans, we just had, and I've got both now, but we just had the preliminary plat. And another document didn't say final plat. That was their complaint. And I think they caught themselves when they went to the park, which is another area that they're going through phase 2, and they did table that one. And they didn't go back and address the estates, but when I talked to him on the phone, I said, Steve, you know, you have a recorded vote, you approved it, so I've got to bring it to you guys.
Is the only problem is that you didn't have a plat that said final.
Correct. They didn't have any other issue at that time, and they were a little smaller, but the main issue was there was no other documents that final plat on it.
So there was no material objections or complaints,
No.
just a procedural.
Correct.
Okay, any questions? All right, this is also a public hearing. Anybody who wants to come up and speak about this subject, all you have to do is come up to the podium, tell us who you are and where you live, and you have 5 minutes to talk. Okay, and we're going to go on to the next, it's 6:10. We'll go into the next public hearing at 6:10. It's to consider approval of final plat for the estates at Wildwood Trails Phase 2, lot 25 lots, 6.751 acres located at KTNI Company, Lot 17 is lots 3, 4, and Part of 7, also known as Wildwood Trail subdivision.
Again, same issues that we just talked about.
It just seems awfully technical to me that you can't, and I know that you probably have to have, why can't you just mark through
Right.
preliminary and say final?
Well,
You're looking at me.
Not necessarily, it's just that it's in the ordinance where it specifies that they have to be labeled in a certain way, and so staff couldn't do that summarily because staff didn't engineer the plans. The engineer who engineered the plans has to be the one to
Okay.
put the words on there.
And even though in this particular case, nothing changed between preliminary and final, in other scenarios, there potentially would have been change. So that technicality is important because sometimes there is a difference between preliminary and final.
Okay.
That's true.
Answer one question. Anybody else have a question?
I kind of still have heartburn on having the preliminary plat and the final plat at the same reading, at the same time. We still,
We've done it before in the past, I know, several times, and yeah, it just seems kind of odd, but it's here. We're building houses. How many houses you got built going out there, do you have any idea?
Yeah, let's see.
I bet he's got over 20.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, you
In
mean?
some,
Oh, yeah.
some phase of either complete or construction.
Correct. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, I'm probably getting too far afield. This is a public hearing. Again, anybody who wants to come up and speak, all you have to do is tell us who you are and where you live. You got 5 minutes to talk about this subject. Okay, it's 6:13, and we're going to close this hearing. And we'll go into reports from commission staff. Hey, Susie, you have anything you want to tell us or talk about?
Do you? Go for it.
Oh, welcome.
Well, you know, first of all, I'd like to, before we get into that, I'd like to welcome Jesus Garza, our new city manager, and we're really glad to have you. And I know you've had a week to hit the ground and do a lot of things. I know last week was awfully busy, and
I made it a week.
yeah, there you go. Oh, you're gonna make it a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
We're really happy to have you. And this is an opportunity, if you have anything you want to talk to us about. It kind of, the way Courtney has this drawn up, it covers any kind of open meeting objections. So if you have something you want to visit with us about, you can do it here right now. Courtney?
Yes, sir. Just a few housekeeping items before we get into the general announcements. On item number 1 in the consent agenda, that is essentially the same resolution that the commission had approved at our last meeting on the 26th. However, because TxDOT provided us the revised agreement the night of the meeting, I think in the original resolution it said we were going to have 6 equal payments of one amount, but they have requested that it be identical to what is in the agreement, so that there's 5 equal payments of one amount, and the 6th payment is 2 cents less. And so that's the only change to a whereas in that document. But that's why that one's before you again, to help make sure that we keep them happy. The other item, number 22, with regards to the donation for the parks, and we put approximately, whenever we wrote this item up, because we weren't sure on the specific number that was going to be attached. And today at the county commissioners meeting, the county did approve the Clayborough County District Attorney's Office request to donate an additional $2,500 to the parks with their anti-drug campaign that they're going to be doing with some of their fitness and other youth activities. And so that amount will actually be $5,950 if the commission approves accepting all the donations. There's an updated memo that was passed out to you tonight, I believe. And I just wanted to note that on item 23, if you do approve all those donations, that there's an updated budget amendment to reflect that amount as well. That's it with regards to the housekeeping items on the agenda. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, Monday the 23rd. That's the Monday of Thanksgiving week. We haven't been notified yet that any of you will be absent, but if you do plan to be unavailable, please let the city secretary know. We've got this Friday the 13th as the deadline for all agenda items for that meeting, as well as staff reports to the city manager and the city secretary. This Wednesday, the 11th, is Veterans Day. That's a city-recognized holiday, and so City Hall and most of the city offices will be closed, except for the first responders. And again, a shout out and thanks to all the veterans for their service. And that was all I have.
Okay. Thanks, Courtney. Any questions to Courtney? All right, anybody have anything on the commission?
I do, Mayor. One is, got three items. The fence at the pavilion, we're getting nothing but compliments on it. Everybody seems to really, really like it. There was some concerns about it being farther from the sidewalk, but I think that's gonna be fine, and maybe we can make that sidewalk bigger one day so people can actually walk. That would be fun. On another note, the trees on Santa Gertrudis. There's, every time I go by there, I count more dead ones.
Well, you know, are you expecting an answer?
No, my concern is, I think that the next time we do something like that, we might really want to think about.
Sometimes she's expecting one.
Yes, but I usually let you know. I think probably we need to talk to somebody else about trees, the type of trees, maybe do a better soil sample. You know, if we had done crepe myrtles, just a couple of crepe myrtles in those areas to follow through with the university.
I agree.
Stuff like that, but we probably need to go out there and do something with those trees.
We've been, again, trying to maintain, and we've had a good amount of rainwater, which is probably the best irrigation that we could ask for on these kind of things. We have discovered 2 trees were actually hacked down with an axe or a hatchet
Right.
or machete or whatever, but they were hacked down, and they were actually good trees. They weren't
Yeah,
none of
those
the
were
dead
a
trees.
couple weeks ago.
So that happened a couple of weeks ago. I'm very disappointed about that. I don't know if it was Commissioner Pena or someone had mentioned that maybe the bottom of the median might have still been asphalt. Was it the mayor?
I was a kid when they built that road, and I can remember when they built it, they asphalted all the way across it. That is a fake or false median.
And it's very common practice, by the way, to do something like that. In Calallen, on those medians in Calallen on 624 is like that. I wouldn't doubt it.
But when we buy trees from people, they should do a boring and get a soil sample.
Absolutely.
And that kind of stuff. And that-
Absolutely.
we spent a whole lot of money, put in a whole lot of trees.
38,000.
And a lot of effort trying to maintain
Yeah.
that. We also, in my opinion, my professional opinion, need to consider irrigation system as well. It's very effective in other places here around town, like the Xeriscape, and this Xeriscape that's right out here by the parking lot. We just took a little bit of tweaking, and we got that irrigation system going, and it's looking beautiful. So a drip irrigation system goes a long way. We'll consider
And
that as well.
plants
And of course, the
soils.
right plants
Yeah.
and that
Okay.
sort.
I'm just getting a lot of complaints, and every time I go down there, another dead soldier.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, there's something we're really gonna have to deal with, and that's the old hospital. We've condemned it. How long has it been since we condemned that?
Couple years.
Yeah, and so, and I know with the landfill situation the way it is, where are we on the landfill on, did we got the survey? Didn't you say we were getting the survey?
We got
all
the
back?
survey, Naismith Engineering did do a survey. This is for the permit process, which is under review by TCQ right now.
Right, that's for the modification.
That's for the modification, to go deeper and to go higher. So we do have the survey from Naismith Engineering. One of the things I think is part of the process is we need to submit updated maps of the landfill, a list of adjacent property owners, things like
That's
that.
all on record. I mean, that's all on file. It should be. I don't think we've had any.
Well, the
But
adjacent
where-
property
where
owners
are
might have
we-
changed.
Yeah, but where are we on the fill and how much time do we have left? Because I know we were only supposed to have 8 years ago, and that was when we built it, and that was 8 years that we built it or more.
Pete,
So-
you,
And that was
Yeah.
having a C&D area.
Yeah, we do have some more, we had it resurveyed, and it
Okay.
turns out we have more room than we thought.
For what?
for extra to go up higher. Some of it has settled down.
Has it?
with the
It
new
has.
survey compared to the last one we did, which is about 4 years ago. But it's towards sector 1 area.
Oh,
Not
okay.
sector 2, but towards sector 1
Sector one.
area. The whole top part of that. So we're good on that. That's
Okay,
what
so
it is.
you're saying there's room in sector 1? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, well, what about the air,
And
the,
the adjacent landlord list had to be updated.
right, right,
And I think tomorrow, they're meeting with the consultant for the chart, the liner that's gonna go on the old 235.
uh-huh,
They have to do some settlement analysis and stuff like that, because it's the same kind of liner, but because it's gonna be placed on existing waste
right.
and not on solid ground, they have to do that. So they're meeting with the consultant tomorrow, and we should be, by the end of this year, ready to submit everything. The submittals should be done.
Okay, but where are we with the landfill space that we're permitted to put waste in right now?
Yeah, we got, I'd say, there's some places that have about 2 feet all the way across, 3 feet all the way from.
Okay, is that 1 acre, or how many acres?
Yeah,
are
it's
we
about 2 or 3
The 8
acres.
acres or 3?
Or the whole section of sector
Okay.
1.
Okay,
There was a lot, we surveyed that and came out positive. We like the results from that survey. So,
well, maybe we can get a good update as soon as possible, see where we are, because we need to start that hospital, we need to start getting back in condemned buildings. And I know we talked about having a year, and it takes a good year to build a new cell,
yeah, it does.
at least.
I'm waiting for you to approve it.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Anything else? Anybody else have anything?
Did that extend our life at the landfill? Oh, what's
Going
happening?
deeper and higher?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
How many years are we talking about?
Pete, how many years? Wow. Talking about, we're like at least 50 years. On that, yeah.
Well, I want to make sure that Al Garcia will still be around. He's okay, well, I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, Mayor, I'd just like to say that on Tranquitas Creek, coming down from Corral Street, I think it's starting to get pretty thick with weeds. And I know that it's being wet and stuff like that, but hopefully as soon as, we get some dry weather, that we can go out there and mow all the grass, because mosquitoes are starting to pop out. And this is the time of the year where we get a lot of mosquitoes, so just be proactive.
Yes.
Mayor, Pecos, is there another, do you have something on Wednesday?
For Veterans Day?
Mhm.
Yes, at the St. Gertrude's Cemetery at 11 o'clock, we're gonna have a ceremony. And after the ceremony, there will be punch and sandwiches and little things that the staff from the Santa Gertrude Cemetery provides. And there's a lot of things going on the 11th in Rivera. They're having also their Rivera High School is having their ceremonies, and also in Bishop, they're having the ceremonies, and those
Ricardo?
ladies that come from Louisiana, the Bells or something like that.
Yeah.
They do this show about World War II and stuff. It's real nice. If you've never seen that, you have a chance either to go to Bishop and see them over there, or go to the university at night. I believe it's gonna be at 7 o'clock or 7:30. They're gonna perform there, so. Then we have the parade at 5 o'clock. And then after the parade, the Elks Lodge is providing a free lunch. Is that what it is?
Spaghetti dinner.
Yeah, pre-dinner.
For veterans.
They told me it was gonna be a T-bone steak.
Well, just,
Oh, they lied to me?
no,
No?
they accepted Marines.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to get a load of World War II vintage Spam for you.
Yeah, I believe spaghetti and salad and iced tea. Free to the veterans and their dependents, so you're welcome.
Yeah, yeah.
That's about it as far as, there's a lot of other little things going on at the schools in the mornings, but since I'm working, I really don't pay much attention to that because I gotta work, right, boss? Yeah, okay.
Anything else?
Yes, Mayor,
Sure.
I just want to bring up the I guess, restaurant facilities that we have in the golf course. If we can look into somebody taking that over, as far as renting or
Give me
leasing or,
To help you out, I think Jimmy was looking at something along those lines, I don't know.
Is Jimmy here?
No,
No?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
everything
not-
else
it's-
seems to be gelling,
Yeah.
and that's the only place that just had a stalemate. We need to do something in that area.
Sure, we can look at it.
Anything else? All right, then let's go on to public comments. It's an opportunity for anybody to talk about anything they want to talk about. All you have to do is come to the podium and tell us who you are, where you live, and you have 3 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, nobody mentioned it, just wanted to mention that the.
Who are you and where you live?
Susan Ivy and I live at 410 East Johnston. And the Recycling Center and the Community Appearance Department and the Parks Department are hosting Kingsville Recycles Day on Saturday from 9 in the morning till noon. And we're inviting all the kids and families out to do some recycled crafting and games and learn a little bit more about our recycling center. Also, the Ranch Hand Festival is next week. Since we won't see you again till then, we wanted to make sure that everybody knows there's lots of activity going on, and Leo can probably tell you how to get all that information. It's on your website, on the tourism website, so there's a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on that weekend, so hope you can come out.
Mayor, before I forget, I had an email from Mr. Jones, and in regards that, I believe Senator Lucio was gonna be here, and so he's gonna be around, and so,
Is that for Veterans Day?
yes.
Yeah, in Franklin, that's good.
So,
All right. Anybody else, any other comments? If not, we'll go on to the consent agenda. Commissioner Garcia, you want to remove
Just
items 13?
13.
Does anybody else have anything else they want to remove? If not,
Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda, except 13.
second,
okay, motion made by Commissioner Luber to accept the consent agenda as presented with the exception of item 13, seconded by Commissioner Pecos. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Pickles?
yes.
Commissioner Peña?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Fugate?
Yes. Next item is a motion to approve the final passage of an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kingsville, Texas, Chapter 9, General Regulations, Article 10, Streets and Sidewalks, to add street maintenance fee sections to establish monthly street maintenance fees for the purpose of funding the city street system, establishing a street maintenance fund, and an appeal process.
Sir.
Commissioner Garcia, I'm just going to go ahead and Charlie, you want
There were
to?
some questions that were brought up with regard to the exemptions. So the commission has a couple of options. You could either adopt the ordinance as presented and go back and amend that section later, or you could consider tabling to get the items worked out between now and our next meeting. But I'll let Charlie and Commissioner Garcia address that. Just procedurally, those are ways we can.
My only concern is that we're on a pretty short schedule here, and I know we want to start this January 1st, and here we are, second week of November. And I don't want to put staff in a position where we have to wait for another meeting, towards the end of November and expect you to have this ready in 30 days. It's probably already going to be a pretty tough job as it is. Commissioner Garcia, what's your preference on this, since it's your issue?
Well, my particular question was on the 501c3 exemption. If it remains the way it's written, 501c3, this particular ordinance is also going to develop a board to go along with this fee process. And if somebody is grieving against any of this, and we have tax exempt organizations coming up, they're only going to refer to the 501c3 that is written on the form as it is. And there are other organizations that are exempt. For instance, 501c9, which includes American Legions,
19.
or 19 rather, which includes American Legions and
Veterans organizations.
various organizations and all that. So that contradicts all that. And to make it fall real smoother, we need to look at all the exemptions. There's 29 of them, as I garnered the information on the internet. And I guess specifically go through all of them and then just name those individual exemptions so we can make the process flow a little better.
I think what the direction I'd give the city manager and staff is that I don't think there's anyone on this commission that has an objection to the fee. We just need to clean up this language. So yeah, let's go ahead and not act on this tonight, but with the understanding that you can move forward on whatever preparations you need to have this in place by January the 1st.
Oh, if I may, Mayor, Commissioners, thank you. Something with the exemption board is just that. There might not be some registered nonprofit organizations out there, and this would give the opportunity, the board will give an opportunity to hear their case and make a decision whether they're truly a non-exemption or a nonprofit organization and things like that. Because maybe it's a student organization.
The statute or ordinance probably needs to be a little bit more generic.
Yes. And we can work on that. And that's a very good.
I just want to make the process flow a little better and you know, the communication part of it will flow better.
Just leave 501c instead of putting a number there.
Well,
Any 501c,
Let's let Courtney look at it.
but a lot of the numbered C exemptions are estates and entities that don't even apply.
well, those are not gonna come requesting that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
No, but what I'm saying is, if we don't look at them individually, you know, all 29 of them, we don't know which ones are gonna fall in the exception process.
Do you have any problems with that, Courtney?
No, sir, staff would be happy to work on that.
Okay, probably a good idea. Jesus, what do you have?
You know, my biggest, my biggest feedback on that is, you know, obviously because of the timeline of January 1st, you know, I want to make sure that we have enough time to make the community aware that this is coming. We've already have had conversations internally about what we want to do to help educate the community. So for example, if it was going to be approved tonight, I had already initiated a conversation with Tim about in the newspaper on Wednesday, you know, detailing that more information is available online. Beginning with the late last week, we started developing an FAQ sheet and ensuring that the information related to the plan is on the front page of the website, so that as people get this notice about the fee, they can go to our website and you can find it very easily. We talked about developing either a separate flyer or perhaps maybe sending the same FAQs along with the water bills during the cycle of December, so that people can know what this is before January 1st. So my biggest concern is just that timeline of letting people know that this is coming. We can definitely start initiating that process. Like I said, some of that information is already online. But you know, it definitely is a little bit easier to just from the get-go make sure that it's cleaned up from a language perspective rather than coming back and amending it later.
Okay.
That's definitely easier. But again, you know, the concern is just the process and the timing to let people know that this is coming. Especially with, I'm not sure how much the residents watch the news in Corpus, but I know there's been issues in Corpus with their user fee. And so we want to make sure that we do what we can to educate people, making sure that this is for residential streets. And so we need to get that word out as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you. All right, well then let's move on to the next item. We'll revisit that hopefully the next meeting. I'm going to go ahead and ask to take 17 out of order so the judge doesn't have to wait. Unless someone has objections.
Number 17, is that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
That's yours.
that's right.
Consider request from the county judge for waiver of rental fee for J.K. Northway Building for courthouse restoration contract. Commissioner, that's
Yeah, Mayor, me and the judge been talking about it, and you just want to make sure that the monies that we're inclined to collab with the concert and everything, and stuff like that, and the way things are going, we'd like to see if, a waiver would be in place for the county for the use of the Coliseum. It's the first time that they're doing this, and, the judge been working real hard in trying to build monies to fix the courthouse, and, it's gonna be up to you guys if you all want to, go ahead, but Judge, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll give you a little background. So right now, we've created a fundraising committee in the courthouse. We're in the process of, we're in the application process to the Historic Commission in Austin. We've got a short-term and a long-term goal. Our short-term goal right now is applying for some emergency monies. The state's has asked us in the past, and in past administrations, they had some requests that were never fulfilled, and the immediate request was that those windows get replaced. If you ever have a chance to go by the courthouse, you take a look up to the third deck, and you'll see that the majority of the windows are plywooded. As the windows fell out into the lawn of the courthouse, they replaced them with plywood, and then the historic committee came behind and said it's not acceptable, doesn't match the courthouse, so they decided to paint them white so they would match the courthouse. So we have white. So we've assured them that the county's on board with it now. That's our first target, and so I'm going after that emergency money. It's about $408,000, give or take some change, and we've got to come up with some match money for that. And we got about a 3 or 4 year plan for the big money. Same thing we did with our new city hall. We're applying for the bigger grant, and at that time we'll need some bigger contributions, which we've got a lot of very interested organizations willing to help us out. So this is our first of many. We had an algorithm that we needed to kind of fulfill to put us higher up in the application process. There's probably about 40 other courthouses in the state of Texas that are requesting for the same pot of money as we are. They have a scoring system that they rate you by. We were a lot lower on the list because there were some areas that we were deficit on. One was a record management system which we created. Another one we just passed. We need to get an easement passed, which got passed. Again, we needed to show county contribution, that the county's doing what they've asked us to do. So we're checking those boxes, and then we needed to show community participation. So we had like 0 from county participation and 0 on community participation. So we got an idea of putting this concert community event together to help us with that scoring system, and that alone is going to bring our numbers up drastically. And we've reached out to the community. I thought there was a way that we could show partnership in Kingsville and Cover County. So we've included nonprofit organizations like the H.M. King High Band, the veterans, the ROTC, some of our local organization clubs, 4-H, soccer teams, the Elks Club. So we're involving a lot of organizations. We're actually giving them money. We're letting them pre-sell our tickets, and we're giving them a proceed of the ticket sales so they can actually help their own organizations, and at the same time show that we have a partnership with our local organizations on putting this event together. We've had a good response from the county. I think we've got almost 30 tables reserved, because we're selling VIP tables to help offset the cost of this event. So what I kind of wanted to reword the request. The request that what I'm asking for, because I don't want to hurt Susan's budget out there. So I was thinking maybe we could ask for a $1,500 donation from the city towards this event to help offset the cost of the JK Northway that night. And again, with an understanding that every cent earned is going to go into our courthouse restoration fund. And that's about it. I'm open here for any questions.
Well, Judge, you kind of cut my little spiel short, because we really can't, in my opinion,
Yeah, I get it.
waive fees for the JK Northway. That's one of the problems in the past, and I hope this commission has a commitment to keep that money in the park system, because it's woefully in need of repair, and for money to waive then your fee, then we'd have to reconsider what we're doing with the stock show, and then the next. I mean, it's almost everything that goes in out there is a noble cause.
Sure.
And it makes it really difficult. And so if we set the policy that we're not going to waive the fee, it makes it a lot easier. So that was what And that's just my opinion. Now, some of the commission as a whole might feel differently about that, but I just think that that's what we need to stand by that position, that we don't waive the fees.
I'm gonna have to parrot the mayor on that as much as we'd like to. If we start with the county, which is why one of the reasons we have the JK Northway and the parks now, we have to be fair to everybody. And like you said, everybody's noble, every charitable case is important. And what is the amount, $1,500? If you really look at that $1,500 for JK Northway and the parking, and I mean, that's unheard of. That is such a small amount of money for what anybody's getting. It puts us in a really bad place, as much as we understand where you're coming from with the courthouse. It absolutely needs it. We're doing the same thing with the new City Hall, old school. But if we do it for y'all, if we do it for the county, we have to do it for everybody else, and we're never going to get that place up to where it needs to be.
Well, I know it's on the agenda item tonight, but I guess we could come back and just ask for a $1,500 contribution from the city of Kingsville. And, I do believe the courthouse belongs to the city of Kingsville and its residents. I figure if the common folks can donate a little money, and surely the city could.
Okay. Courtney, how it is on the? Go ahead.
The $1,500, Judge, is what does that refer to?
That's the amount that we're going to pay for the JK Northway. And again, at the end of the day, all I'm doing, I'm just trying to maximize our potential revenue out there. And every dime we get is going into this fund. This fund is just the beginning of some other events that we've got lined up, and we're just going to keep compounding it. We're going to roll this money over into another event and keep rolling it over until it's time to either match the money or start paying for some of these repairs ourselves.
Is that the current cost?
That was the bill that we got from Susan Ivy's office, was $1,500.
$1,500.
For that evening, because we're only using it in the evening portion. And
how many hours are going to be used?
Our doors open at 6 p.m. and the event's over at midnight, but we'd have to start setting up right after the rodeo. They're having a rodeo during the daytime, and I'm not sure what the rodeo's paying that day, but we're using it in the evening.
I think they're paying comparable to what.
What is the rodeo pay?
Yes, same.
Okay, because that was under my understanding that. Yeah.
Cheaper.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the
That's
chamber.
what I think.
Okay, because I thought Daniel would also tell me that they weren't being charged for it.
Susan.
No.
I'm vaguely.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I mean, we get it. It's
All
up for a
right.
vote.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, and just for the record, Judge, we do partner with the county in many different things, We've recently partnered on the airport with you guys. I just want to make sure that people know that we are partnering, and because I agree with my colleagues, if we open the door for this particular scenario, I mean, we got to deal with the livestock show particularly, and they've been real adamant about, that particular fee. So, I mean, that's just my take on that.
And it's a great cause you have. I applaud you for your efforts. It's not something we can't give individually. I intend to, and it just it makes it really difficult for us to do this.
Again.
Okay. Anything else? It is an action item.
Mayor,
Sure.
I'm thinking here. Now, if we're going to charge $1,500 for your event, and then we're going to charge $1,500, or we're charging $1,500 for the rodeo. Yes. Are you charging by the hour, or how does that work?
I can answer that.
Okay.
Our contracts are made for an event for a performance per day. So our language in our contract for the rodeo is for one performance. It's a completely different organization hosting it, a completely different set of liability that goes along with that, and it specifically states that it's for one performance per day. So if another performance comes in after a big rodeo, professional rodeo during the day, and then something else comes in that's actually something that normally comes in by itself in a day, it's a whole nother performance with a lot of work entailing the setup, the maintenance, the cleanup, and my staff being there to make sure that all of the equipment, lighting, sound, all that's in place. And so as I have been, as we all have discussed, I am writing these contracts based on what the contract states. And that's what I gave him. Knowing that, following that, there would be some kind of negotiation going on or not. So I think it's my responsibility to write the contracts exactly how the contract reads. So that's what I did.
Okay, thank you.
Well, any other questions? Okay, it is an action item.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah.
get it?
No, no.
All right. You want to do overs?
Well, we have a
Gotta read them.
we have a motion made by Commissioner Pena to consider.
I'm sure you read the motion.
Yeah. Let me, oh,
Sure.
can I retract my motion?
Sure.
Rescind it.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry,
So we're-
sorry, Commissioner.
So you're putting out your motion?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, is there a motion? Is there a motion? Okay, well, better luck next time, Judge, sorry.
Thank you guys for your time.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir,
it.
thank you. Okay, the next item is, after all that confusion, is consider introduction of an ordinance granting a special use permit for 1055 South US Highway 77.88 acres, Lot 8, Jesse 2, for car storage for enterprise. So, 14.
Are we gonna do the consent?
We already did.
Where is it?
Oh, we did.
Yeah, for enterprise, rent a car.
Jeez.
It's
Not
okay.
doing well today.
Where were you?
It's all right.
Medication, medication?
It's all right, it's all right. No, it's an introduction item. I don't see any problems with this.
Thank you for doing that.
If anybody has any concerns or objections, bring them to the city manager. We'll address this at our next meeting. With that, we'll go on to the next item, consider approval of preliminary plat for the estates at Wildwood Trail Phase 2. Lots, 25 lots, 6.751 acres located at KTNI Company, Block 17, Lot 23, part of 7, also known as Wildwood Trail Subdivision.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Pena to approve the preliminary plat, seconded by Commissioner Liebert. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Beckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Pena?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Mayor Fugit?
Yes. Next item is consider approval of final plat for the Estates of Wildwood Trails Phase 2, and I'm not going to read the description again, also known as Wildwood Trails Subdivision.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Liebert to approve the final plat, seconded by Commissioner Pena. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Pena?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Beckles?
Yes.
Mayor Fugit?
Yes. Now for probably the most controversial thing we have tonight. Consider a resolution casting the city of Kingsville votes for candidate Al Garcia to the Board of Directors of Cleveland County Appraisal District.
So moved.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Pena to approve all our votes to go to Commissioner Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Liebert. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Beckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Pena?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Abstain.
Mayor Fugit?
Yes. Next item is consider, how many years have you done this now?
100?
About 18.
Either 18 you've been on that president?
About that, yeah.
Okay.
Time for change.
Yeah. Well, keep changing your clothes.
All right, next item is consider resolution authorizing the release of Chapter 59 funds of the Kingsville Specialized Crime and Narcotics Task Force for donation to the Boys and Girls Club of Kingsville for drug abuse prevention programs. Willie, good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. This is the same donation we've given for the last 4 years. It's a $5,000 donation to the Boys and Girls Club of Kingsville. So,
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Luber to approve this donation, seconded by Commissioner Pena. Thank you for doing this. It's a great cause. I think, you know, John Pettis does such a great job over there. I think one time last year, he has over 700 kids that they service in some form or fashion.
Yes, sir, correct.
Which for a city the size of Kingsville is a remarkable.
Mr. Pettis is kept quite busy.
Yeah, he does a great job. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Pickles?
Yes.
Commissioner Peña?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Mayor Buhey?
Yes, next item is consider resolution to authorize the release of Chapter 59 funds of the Kingsville Specialized Crime and Narcotics Task Force for donation to family counseling services for drug abuse prevention programs.
This is the first time this is before this commission, Mr. Mayor, but we do have verification, and there's a letter attached as part of the attachments that they do service our area here in Kingsville. And again, they qualify under our guidelines for the donation, and we're also extremely glad to provide it.
Okay. Any other questions about this? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Garcia to approve this donation, seconded by Commissioner Pickles. You know, I am familiar with this organization, and they do, Tracy does a lot of good work, so.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's where you get your counseling, don't you?
I need it. After dealing with you. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Peña?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Pickles?
Yes.
Mayor Buhey?
Yes. Next item is consider resolution authorizing the release of Chapter 59 funds of the Kingsville Specialized Crime and Narcotics Task Force for donation to the Parks Department for drug abuse prevention programs.
Mr. Mayor, this is also the first time for this request, and of course, now that the Parks and Recreation departments are under the city of Kingsville, we're able to also donate money to their assistance for these programs.
Good deal. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Garcia to approve this donation, seconded by Commissioner Pickles. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Pickles?
Yes.
Commissioner Peña?
Yes.
Mayor Buhey?
Yes. Next item is consider acceptance of approximately $3,450 in donations to the Parks Department.
No, it was a different figure, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, in your,
It was
you were headed up,
5,950.
yeah, you were handed an updated letter.
Right.
That had the $5,950 for
Oh, okay.
the new
Right.
amount.
Yeah.
So this is to accept those donations.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
It's introduction.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's
Oh, I'm
not.
sorry, I'm the next one. I'm already on the next one. Jesus Christ.
Tonight's not your night.
No.
Did you take your medication?
Okay, there's a motion made by Commissioner Garcia to accept this donation, seconded by Commissioner Pickles. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Pickles?
Yes.
Commissioner Peña?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Buhey?
Yes. Next item is consider introduction of ordinance amending the fiscal year 2015-2016 general fund budget to accept and expend $5K and other donations for the Parks Department.
Introduction items be the housekeeping
Yeah.
items for next one.
Very good. Any questions? Just get them to the city manager. We're up with, it's probably up for approval the next meeting. Okay, next item is consider authorizing purchase of a storage array as per staff recommendation. Dave?
Mayor,
Good.
Commissioners, always a pleasure to be here. 24 and 25 really go together. 24 is the actual acquisition of the storage array, or it's kind of like a server device. With the advent of coming in and having Laserfish and increased storage requirements, we need to replace our current storage system. This particular one is available for $77,966.63 from CDW or CDWG, the government side of it. It is under a co-op National Joint Powers Alliance, so it meets the competitive bidding requirements. Upon the approval and acquisition, then, like I said, on the next item, it will be the lease agreement for it. But the lease agreement is budgeted in the IT budget under 641 lease.
Any questions about this?
So you have the money for that?
Yes, sir.
How much did we budget for?
We originally budgeted $18,000 for the lease, and we've decided it's gonna be better to do this on a 4-year lease instead of a 5-year lease. The 5-year lease would have brought us in under that $18,000, but we feel as though the 4-year lease is better. So we moved some money from another line item, so we could cover it. It's gonna be about $21,000 on the annual lease.
Any other questions?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Pena to approve this lease purchase agreement, seconded by Commissioner Pickles. Any other discussion?
Yes, are you gonna get this unit, storage unit, before the move or after the move?
It's gonna come before the move. We're gonna try to get it in and running, so when it go, everything will just go with us. So,
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Roll call vote?
Commissioner Beckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Peña?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Mayor Fugate?
Yes, next item is consider authorizing emergency replacement of the ground storage tank at water well number 22.
No, 25, papi.
25.
You know.
You need to medicate.
Yeah.
24.
Anybody home?
24 allowed the acquisition, 25 is the actual.
No, I'm reading it right. I just got it wrong.
And pay for it.
We just did 25.
Now we need to pay.
Oh, okay.
Help them, please, help.
That's 24. You just,
Okay, you're right. 25, consider resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a governmental, we're usually better than this. I just want to let you know.
Did you take your medicine?
We're just nervous.
We're very nervous.
Consider resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a governmental lease purchase agreement by and between Capital City Leasing, Inc. and the city of Kingsville for storage array as per staff recommendation.
Capital City Leasing is the leasing company we used for the pavement laydown machine and the last oil truck. They're actually based out of Austin. They use smaller Texas local banks to actually acquire their funds. Courtney has done a review on it. There was a couple of items there, because when I talked to the guy asking for a 3, 4, and 5, and so I think when we actually went with 4, he missed a couple of minor things in the lease. We've crossed those out. I've spoken with him verbally. He said that's perfectly all right. They like us because we're making our lease payments on the other equipment that we bought from or leased through them. And this is the lease payment, I call it $21,000. It's actually $20,940.03 per year, and we pay that in arrears. So at the end of the first year, so.
Okay.
In subsequent years.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Payne to authorize this lease purchase agreement. Second by Commissioner Pickles. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Peña?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
yes.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Beckles?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Fugate?
Yes. Next item is consider authorizing emergency replacement of the ground storage tank at water well number 22.
It says authorizes the replacement. Current tank at well 22 is leaking in several locations and is in desperate need of replacement. If you look at the subsequent information there, the tank had been showing signs of deterioration. We thought it might be, we had maybe a year, it started to leak more and more and more, and it doesn't appear to stop. And as we know, with the abrasive nature of water, the more it leaks, the more it's going to continue to leak. TCQ is aware of this, so right now we have nice chlorinated water running down the creek, which is neither here nor there, but if we're going to do water releases, I wouldn't use the chlorinated. So in
Kill the fish out there.
we don't want to kill
Not
the
yet.
fish. This is $120,000. So that would normally require the bidding procedure and approval by city commission. However, under Texas Local Government Code 252.022, there are several exemptions from that. And I put the first three in the recommendation, but it goes on for a few more. But our primary interest is number 2, is a procurement necessary to preserve and protect the public health or safety of the municipality's residents. And having adequate water supplies certainly would be considering protecting the citizens' public health. One thing Texas Local Government Code does not do is define all these terms in specificity. It says that public health. Well, it doesn't say certain things, whether this works or that works. However, in Hoffman versus City of Mount Pleasant, which is the case that the comptroller's training always quotes in this, City of Mount Pleasant was allowed to build a wastewater treatment plant under the preserve and protect public health and safety without using the sealed bid and approval process that we would normally use for something that's greater than $50,000. We do have the $120,000, and so we would request that you approve this, and it'll be done by Hubert Construction Company, who is currently right now building the tank at New Waterwell 25. It's a very similar operation. He's familiar with it, and he can have it done in a timely manner.
What's the timely manner?
As soon, timely manner. I didn't talk to him specifically on when he was gonna start.
Well, he's currently
By the
working
end of
on
the
that
year,
new
or
water
is-
well project that still needs to get completed. Once the approval has been made, then he'll go ahead and order that, and you're probably looking about 90 days for completion. Ordering and that's done.
Did we shut down that water well?
No, it's currently operating, yes.
Still leaking?
So the water's leaking and going into the creek?
It's going into the creek, yes.
And what about the frogs? Are they getting killed?
Chewing gum?
No.
Frog? No?
No. The fish are happy.
How much water is leaking?
Have you seen the river?
It is leaking, I would say, it's about 120 gallons an hour. But there's different pinholes throughout the whole thing, and so eventually, if we don't act on it, we're taking a chance that because of the deterioration, that the tank itself might
Yeah,
fall
but
apart completely.
125 an hour, that adds up. A lot.
Did somebody hit it with a shotgun or something?
No, that's just the coating itself. It is still voltage galvanized, and the coating has reaches life, and then you'll see that the tank itself is 19 years old.
Do we ever go into these things and get them and then make up the inside?
Yes, there is a technology there, but it's just not always a guarantee that it's going to work. I believe we had a quote about last year, as a matter of fact, for about $66,000 to do the inside, and then they'll have to, but that's before they actually do some sandblasting. You have to get it to almost near white condition. When you do that, then you're going to end up with a bunch of pinholes throughout the whole thing. It's just not cost effective.
Tell us again where the location of this well is.
Fifth and Avenue C.
You can see it from Clearbrook School.
Yeah.
What's the size of the tank?
The size of the tank is 20, almost 30 feet across, 16 foot tall, and it holds 84,000 gallons.
And how much water does that well produce daily?
Currently it's producing 800 gallons per minute.
So to give you an idea, a day is releasing 3,000 gallons. Seems a lot, but relatively speaking, it's not. But it is nonetheless adds up and leaky.
Well, you know, you have to think about the TCQ rules, you know, that you do not, we have to maintain a watertight condition and the way it is, even if it's just a pinhole, a bunch of pinholes are releasing a drop. As per the rules, we're not in compliance, so that's something we have to look at.
Even a pinhole will lose a
Yes,
whole lot of
it's
water.
not in a watertight condition, so we have to act on it. If you send,
Yes. Go ahead. And the financing or the funds for this project is coming from?
Yes, sir, they are available under, it's a 054 utility fund capital project, 054-5 600.2720-19. Some of that money was originally set aside for the fence at this water well. But I believe there's adequate funding for both those projects.
Okay, thank you.
Make a motion, we authorize emergency replacement of this water tank.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Pena to authorize the emergency replacement of the ground storage tank, seconded by Commissioner Lippert and also Commissioner Pecos. The only concern I have is that I'd really like to see us be a little more proactive. I mean, in inspecting our tanks before we have to get to this point.
I will say, in the commission's favor, this is actually the first emergency.
Yeah, it is. I've never seen one of
that I've
those.
done since I've been here in 5 years.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So we try to do a real good job.
Yeah.
Y'all do a real good job. We try to keep up with this.
Sure.
This one just popped on us, so.
Well, 19 years old, it's an old tank.
you know, just for additional
Lucky that's
information,
all.
the tanks are inspected annually as
They
a
are.
requirement. And then we just thought that the tank was actually gonna last a little longer than that. And sometimes, you know, with the conditions, sometimes the shifting, you got some, a lot of times you have rust that actually holding the tank together, and you got some shifting that they come off, and then you got leaks. So,
Well,
but-
Joe, you do a great job for us, so I can't, you know, I'm not gonna second guess you.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
How many more tanks do we have that are aging like this particular tank, do you know? Do we have a number?
It's
Yes,
speaking a
sir.
little
We
far off
currently
of our
have,
agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Hold on, Joe, hold on, Joe. We're not gonna, I think.
I'll ask you later.
Ask later, okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call vote?
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Lippert?
Yes.
Commissioner Beckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Fenya?
Yes.
Mayor Buhey?
Yes, next item is consider authorizing the mayor to execute a proposed settlement agreement with TCEQ for wastewater case number 51346.
Mayor and Commissioner, this is related to a notice of enforcement and violation that we received in September on exceeding the copper levels of our effluent water coming out of the North or 3 MGD wastewater treatment plant. Last year, the TCEQ did some changes to the regulations, whereas they were more strict on the copper levels of our effluent water. To give you an idea, the copper levels restrictions are so strict that it's lower than our drinking water. So, and this is the effluent water after it's been treated through the wastewater treatment plant. The violation occurred during the spring months of April through June, which is around the time when we had those torrential rains during Memorial Day weekend. Also, around that time was when we started taking in the wastewater from the NAS Kingsville. We're still trying to pinpoint the source of the higher and why the higher copper levels and where it's coming from. This is not operator error. I want to make sure that this is not operator error and this is not a reporting error. We report our effluent water on a daily basis. Actually, we take the samples every day, and then once a month we submit them to TCEQ, and that's how the TCEQ.
Charlie, I was looking at the report TCEQ has, and they said that this was a violation that went on for 60 days.
3 months.
That's 90 days.
Well, it occurred between those months, yes,
No,
sir.
they said the violation was going on daily for 60 days. How does that compare to what you're telling us right now, that you test the water every day?
We test the water every day, and then we whatever the result is, we report that result to the TCEQ.
They weren't getting reports that I could see from their report.
It's on the DMR, which is the discharge, I'm sorry, the discharge monitoring report. We reported ourselves to TCQ is what I'm getting at. I mean, it's not like they came down and found the violation or inspected it. We report these to TCQ. I'm sorry, sir, we report it weekly.
Yes, weekly?
Yes, sir.
And that's on what you call the DMR?
Yes, sir.
The report gets sent out once every month, but the sampling done for the copper is done once a week. That's what's required. And what it is just an average for the whole month. That's the one that's exceeding.
So you report to TCQ once a month?
Once a month, yes, sir.
Did you report that, did we report it the first month that we found out that this was a
Yes,
problem?
Yes, it's been reported every time a notice goes to the TCEQ, let them know, and they'll look into it. And then later on, they'll set the fines for it, notice enforcement.
And what are, can I name?
Sure.
What is it right now, the actual figures as far as copper is concerned? Did it lower down or we still have the problem?
We're still having
Yes.
issues with it. We have looked into several options, but right now we're looking into doing a chemical injection into during the treatment to see if that's going to be able to lower down our averages.
But that's on the affluent water, right?
Yes, sir.
That's not the water that we're drinking that...
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
This one goes into the creek.
It goes into the creek.
Yes, sir.
We need to start fishing on the creek.
You need to stop eating fish.
If you read that TCQ report, it talks about what measures we took to remediate this. And it says we didn't do anything.
The report that TCQ gave us was already a report of violation. So they didn't give us a report of notification because the violation had already passed.
It might be
So-
history. You might have looked at on the report, it also states the past history as well. I don't know if you were.
There wasn't past history, it was about this incident. I wish I had the document in front of me that down.
And one of the,
Do you have it? Go ahead, Commissioner Lippert, you want to go ahead and...
Well, no, I think the mayor's got on here. What have y'all done to find out where this is coming from?
absolutely, and that's
What
what
have
we're
we
trying to do. We're taking the effluent water to independent labs to see what the copper levels are. And one in particular, again, is the water we're receiving from the base. We've also stopped, and we haven't been in contact with TCQ as well, Mr. Had Darling with the Enforcement Division. We are halting some of the other waste that we receive from contractors and from the oil industry and things like that, because we've never had this copper problem before until this incident. And so we're stopping that, and we're also testing what we're receiving from the base.
So we still have our lab that you're still doing it daily? You have your lab at the plant? right?
Yes, yes.
We're sending the copper samples get sent to Test America and Corpus.
Right,
They're
but
the
you
ones
still
that
have
do-
your lab there that
Correct.
you could do a preliminary test.
No, we don't have the
Test for
equipment to
copper.
do that.
You don't have the equipment?
Yeah.
So you have to take that data?
We have to take, we do a 24-hour composite once a week
Just once a week?
for all metals.
Okay.
But this is the metal that's going over the required limit.
I'm looking at the NOVs, September of 2014, 12, 2014, 1, 2015. Are these other instances, or these? Because these are the dates of the NOVs.
What's in the NOV?
Notice of violation, sorry.
Okay.
So, and it's September of 2014, December of 2014, January 2015.
Those were the dates where it went over.
Okay, so these are the dates that they're going back to?
Correct. This is from last year's.
Okay, so this is an accumulation from last year's to now. Then you've got your fine of $31,000 after it's been amended. for, what was it, like 7,000 that they took off?
That's correct.
Okay, that we have an opportunity that, for the SEP, how come we didn't want to do an SEP?
We are.
I am asking for either combination of an SCP. And there's 3 different kinds of SCPs you could do.
What's an SEP?
Supplemental Environmental Project.
In other words, we spend that, instead of paying them, we do something.
So there's different kinds, or we could do a combination of. One thing we're looking at is, again, as Frank talked about, was a chemical solution to fix the copper problem. We'll inject or drip a chemical, a certain, not a polymer, but similar to that type of process that will coagulate the metals or settle the metals down in the clarifier. So it'll flow down to the clarifier, so now you're getting clearer water going to the effluent. And then, you know, with that chemical, it, like I said, solidifies it, coagulates, lets it settle down, makes it heavier. That stuff will go into the sludge after it's dewatered in our centrifuge that we just received. That's working great, by the way.
Now wait, now you said that. What's that gonna do to the landfill?
Nothing.
With your test? Is that gonna make a difference? Okay.
Nothing.
Okay, because we gotta look at the whole picture.
We do the testing on the metals as well in the sludge too, so.
Okay. So what's the other options on your SEP?
So the other options, of course, is like the trash offs, the hazardous waste, the household hazardous waste trash offs, things like that to do the SEP. But we would prefer to do a wastewater, in this case, to do a wastewater SEP, like that chemical injection.
Yeah, because if you try to do a waste, hazardous waste trash off, it's gonna cost a heck of a lot more than
$31,000. Yeah.
All right, so those are some of my questions.
Okay, anybody else have any questions on this?
I was just wondering, do you ever get any gold or silver coming out? Or, no?
They don't do levels on gold and silver. Right?
Jones, you gotta start throwing some gold and silver out there, man.
So you have identified the base as one, possible.
Possible, yes, sir.
Possible. And then the oil field.
The oil field waste
industry.
Yes, sir.
And
then
private haulers.
The private haulers.
Of what industry?
Well, it can be oil field, a lot of them are oil field, some are just coming from porta potties or, that's all they, mostly all the haulers bring in, just mostly porta potties from oil field.
Septic tanks.
Septic tanks.
You know, commercial customers that we receive over at the wastewater treatment plant.
But you don't know what kind of processing they use or what they're
that's
doing?
all septic.
Yeah, what
all
they're doing.
sewer, yeah. So they don't pre-treat their stuff.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, but this has been going on for quite a long time now.
Yeah, and it's been going on for a long time, but then all of a sudden we got these copper levels. So something had to trigger those copper levels.
Does the processing of methamphetamine high in copper?
I have no clue, sir. I'm sorry. I have I don't know how methamphetamines are.
I'm just thinking here.
Sorry. I don't, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Good answer. Oh, yes, sir.
Make a motion authorizing the mayor to execute a proposed settlement agreement for the CCQ for wastewater case number 51346.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pena to go ahead and settle this
Pay the man.
dispute with TCQ, seconded by Commissioner Pecos. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Luber?
Yes.
Commissioner Peckles?
Yes.
Commissioner Fenya?
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Peters?
Yes. That's all the business we have. The city is not adjourned.
All right. Right, right.